There comes a point in every life when comfort stops protecting you, when plans collapse, when people change without warning, when effort doesn't immediately pay off, when life does not negotiate. And in that moment you find out something important. You are not broken by events. You are broken by your interpretation of them. This is where Stoicism begins, not as philosophy, but as survival training for the mind. Stoicism is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming unshakable in the presence of emotion. It is the difference between reacting and responding, collapsing and adapting, panicking and perceiving clearly. And by the end of this, you will understand something crucial. You cannot control life, but you can become the kind of mind that life cannot control. Chapter 1, the first law, control what is yours. The foundation of Stoicism is simple enough to sound almost disappointing, but it is also life-changing when truly understood. This idea comes from Epictetus. Some things are up to us and some things are not. That is it. That is the split. And most suffering comes from violating it. Let's make it practical. What is not under your control? Other people's opinions, your past, the economy, the weather of life, unexpected losses, timing, outcomes. What is under your control? Your thoughts, your interpretations, your actions, your discipline, your attention, your response. Everything else is noise. Most people live like they are responsible for the entire universe. Stoicism teaches you to return responsibility to its rightful place. You are not the manager of outcomes. You are the manager of effort, attention, and behavior. Once you accept this, something strange happens. Life becomes lighter, not easier, because you stop trying to control the uncontrollable. Chapter 2. Your mind is not a truth machine. Your mind is not designed for truth. It is designed for survival. That means it exaggerates threats, assumes worst-case scenarios, and creates emotional stories that feel real, even when they are not. Between an event and your reaction lies interpretation, and interpretation is where most suffering is created. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. A person insults you. Event, words were spoken, but what causes anger is not the words. It is the meaning you assign. They disrespected me. This is unacceptable. I must respond or I lose status." Stoicism interrupts that chain. It asks, is this fact or interpretation? Because facts are neutral, only the mind adds suffering. Mental unbreakability begins here, not believing every thought you think. Chapter 3. The discipline of pain. Modern life trains avoidance. Avoid discomfort. Avoid boredom. Avoid silence. Avoid failure. But avoidance creates fragility. Stoicism does the opposite. It teaches voluntary discomfort so involuntary discomfort does not destroy you. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest diet." Why would anyone do this? Not for suffering, for training. Because when you deliberately choose discomfort, you stop fearing it, you stop reacting to it, you stop being controlled by it. Try this mentally. Cold showers, fasting occasionally, working without entertainment, silence without stimulation, doing hard tasks without motivation, not because pain is good, but because dependence is dangerous. A dependent mind is a fragile mind. An adaptable mind is unbreakable. Chapter 4. The power of pre-pain, premeditatio malorum. Most people are shocked by life because they rehearsed only the best version of it. Stoicism teaches something radical. Mentally rehearse loss, not to be pessimistic, to be prepared. Imagine losing your job, losing status, losing money, being misunderstood, being abandoned, failing publicly. Now notice something important. If you can imagine it clearly, you are less likely to be destroyed by it. Because surprise is what amplifies suffering. When something expected happens, it hurts less. When something unexpected happens, it breaks people. Stoicism removes the shock factor. You are not trying to attract failure. You are removing fear of it. Chapter 5. The illusion of offense. Most emotional pain comes from one belief, That should not have happened. But reality does not operate on should. Reality operates on is. Someone lies. Someone leaves. Someone betrays trust. The Stoic response is not denial. It is clarity. This is what Marcus Aurelius meant when he wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This does not mean people's actions are acceptable. It means your peace is not negotiable. Offense is optional. You can acknowledge harm without becoming consumed by it. Mental strength is not suppression. It is separation. Event, identity, emotional collapse. Chapter 6. Your ego is your most expensive possession. The ego says, "I must win. I must be right. I must be seen as important." But ego is fragile because it depends on validation, and anything dependent can be taken away. Stoicism replaces ego with virtue, discipline, courage, wisdom, self-control. Ask yourself, do I want to be right, or do I want to be free? Because being right often costs peace, and peace is the highest form of power. Chapter 7. The strength of indifference to outcomes. Most suffering comes from emotional dependence on results. You work hard, but attach identity to outcome. Stoicism teaches, do your duty, release the result. You plant seeds. You do not command harvests. Once effort is complete, outcome belongs to life, not you. This creates something powerful. You can fail without collapsing, because failure becomes information, not identity. Chapter 8. Pain is information, not injustice. When something painful happens, the mind asks, why me? Stoicism replaces that with, what now? Pain is not punishment. It is data. Failure shows limits. Rejection shows mismatch. Loss shows attachment. Stress shows imbalance. Nothing is purely negative unless you make it so. Even suffering can be used. And what can be used cannot fully destroy you. Chapter 9. The Daily Stoic Practice. Mental unbreakability is not a belief. It is a trained response. Here is the daily structure. Morning. Before the day begins, remind yourself, I will encounter resistance. I will encounter delay. I will encounter people I cannot control. I will remain in control of my response. During the day, pause before reacting. Ask, is this under my control? Am I reacting or responding? What would discipline do here? Evening. Review your actions. Where did I lose control of perception? Where did I react instead of respond? Where did I act with virtue? This creates awareness loops. Awareness is the foundation of mastery. Chapter 10. Emotions are not enemies. Stoicism is often misunderstood as suppression. That is incorrect. Emotions are signals, not commands. Anger signals boundaries. Fear signals uncertainty. Sadness signals loss. Joy signals alignment. The problem is not emotion. The problem is obedience to emotion. Mental strength is feeling everything but being ruled by nothing. Chapter 11. The Art of Not Reacting. Reaction is instant. Response is chosen. Between stimulus and response there is a gap. That gap is freedom. Most people collapse that gap. Insult, anger, loss, panic, pressure, anxiety. The trained Stoic expands that gap, even by a few seconds. That space is everything, because in that space, you regain control, you regain perspective, you regain choice, and choice is power. Chapter 12. Adversity is a trainer, not an enemy. Life does not break strong people. It builds them through resistance. Weight creates strength in the body. Pressure creates clarity in the mind. Problems are not interruptions. They are training reps. If life feels heavy, it is not punishment. It is preparation. Chapter 13. The Final Shift. Identity without fragility. The final stage of Stoicism is identity transformation. You stop saying, I need life to be easy, and start saying, I can handle what comes. That is mental unbreakability. Not control over life, control over self, not absence of emotion. Mastery of response, not avoidance of pain, integration of it. The unbreakable mind. An unbreakable mind is not built in peace. It is built in friction. It is built in disappointment, uncertainty, pressure, silence, discipline, repetition, and over time something changes. Not life. You stop asking for easier circumstances. You start building stronger perception. And when perception becomes stable, nothing outside you can fully destabilize you. That is Stoicism. Not a theory, a practice. Not a belief system, a way of standing in the world. And when fully lived, it produces something rare. A mind that is calm in chaos. A mind that is steady under pressure. A mind that is, in the truest sense, unbreakable,